The views and opinions expressed in this content are that of a continuously evolving nature and are subject to change as humanity evolves into higher states of awareness.
Today I came out and I thought I'm going to go for a walk into a local town and just have a walk around like I usually do. And I've been feeling a bit low, been feeling everybody's kind of depression, walking around with masks on, with the head laid low. And I suddenly had like an epiphany, which was the fact that this fear that I'm seeing in people is creating a contrast for me to feel more free. Because seeing everybody in fear and restricted actually shows you the contrast needed to show you that you are actually free. Because internally you don't have to adhere to all this, you see? Internally you can be free. I'm enjoying these lockdowns more than the majority of people out there because I'm going out and I'm feeling free. I'm going into nature. I'm just walking. I'm going out wherever I choose to go. I don't wear a mask and that's just my personal choice, but I don't go too close to people, so it's not really dangerous, is it? So you've got to use your common sense in this as well. And this is what allows you to be free, because you realise that everybody around you who isn't free, who's restricted and watching the news and believing it and being involved in all this fear mongering isn't actually free. And you have to see contrast, and eventually these people will see the contrast, which I hope that this pandemic's going to bring them. I hope they're going to see the contrast eventually, and you have to go through that restricted kind of timeline before you can come out of that timeline to be fully free. And I think eventually everyone's going to do that. But in the meantime, I've realised that I'm feeling more free now than I ever have, whilst we're in the most restricted time of my existence so far. I've never seen lockdowns like this before. There's been numerous viruses. I remember when swine flu came out and that was affecting the world. There's been many different viruses come out in the past, say 20 years. And we've never had a lockdown, ever. So that is a little bit suspicious to me, and I have my own suspicions about what the government are doing here in England. Because this morning that news article that put us on the negative momentum actually stated that the lockdown may go on until July here in England, which is very, very bad news, because a lot of small businesses actually have already had to close. And a lot of them are literally hanging on by a thread as to whether or not they can stay open or not, which I think is wrong. Okay, I think that's wrong, and I think the government, in my opinion, are using this virus season, which happens every year, as an excuse to blame the rise in COVID cases, etc. And that's very disappointing to me. Okay, because I like small businesses, I support them. I think it's lovely to have a lot of options. I don't really want national companies to take over everything, whether the government want that or not. That's just speculation. I don't know if it's true, but when you've watched the news as long as I have when I was younger, because when I was younger I used to watch the news constantly, because I thought of it as kind of a reality TV, which is actually real. But as I got older I realised no, it's not the case, because a lot of them are trying to just keep people watching out of fear, and it's not the reality. Okay, every single little thing they'll just over exaggerate by 1,000, and then it creates all these thought forms, which is this lockdown situation. It's all a big thought form that's been over exaggerated to a point where it's already damaged the economy, it's damaged people's lives. And I don't agree with that. So, but this contrast has made me feel more free, because I'm walking around free as a bird when everyone else is walking around restricted, which is very, very disappointing to me, because I just want to shake some of these people and say, wake up, your life can still be good, you can still be free, you don't have to let this affect you so much internally. But they have to go through this process, and eventually they will find that internal peace. But when you find that internal peace, nothing can control you anymore, you see. The mainstream media can't control you anymore. What somebody high up in the chain, or the so-called chain, says does not affect you, because you realise that their experiences are different to yours, and everybody has their own reality. Okay, you realize that. And a lot of the times these high up figures are only high up because of who they know and not what they know. Our government in England's a good example of this, because we've got this idiot walking around called Boris, who's never been in poverty in his life. He's gone to public school, he's gone to kind of private schools all his life, he's grew up in a rich family, he's been in the politics clique all his life, he doesn't have a clue about what it's like to struggle, and he's standing up saying, oh, we need to go into lockdown, we need to close all these small businesses, but basically he doesn't have a clue how it's affecting people. So as you go up the vibration levels of awareness, you realise these things, and you realise the reality that's going on behind the picture, behind what's been showed, and you see through the masks. Okay, you see through the veil, and hopefully situations like this will waken more people up to see through the veil. And just looking at the beautiful flock of birds up there, which is part of seeing through the veil. You see everything is beautiful when you reach these levels of awareness. But yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest, guys. And if you're feeling low about everybody being restricted, and you're going out and you're feeling very sorry for all these people out there, just think to yourself, this is creating a contrast where you can actually actualize your freedom in yourself by seeing this, because you have to see the opposite to know what you are. Okay, you have to have that contrast in life, which is the same as the duality. You have to see duality before you can find non-duality, which is where you go in the center and you center your being, and you start to become who you really are, free as a bird, and you're your own consciousness, and you can make a bad situation into a good situation if you fully choose to do that internally. So that's it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Let us know your comments on that. If you think I'm wrong about the virus being over exaggerated, let us know. I don't mind, because everybody's got their own opinions on this, but in my eyes it is, and that's how the news channels work, and that's how thought forms are created. It's just the way life is, guys. But as you increase your levels of awareness, which you probably have already, you'll realize that everything is divine. Whatever happens, there's a positive and a negative to it, and you have the power to choose the positive and not dwell on the negative, getting yourself down on a low vibrational frequency. And that's possible, guys. So see you guys in the next video.